Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you're leading a software engineering team today, you absolutely know the quiet chaos of ad hoc AI usage, right? Your developers are probably out there writing these massive, repetitive, manual prompts for every single little task they do. Well, today, we're giving you the definitive playbook to fix exactly that. We're looking directly at how Anthropic's own engineers operate so you can transition your team from chaotic manual prompting over to engineering scalable, composable skills. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to break down this vital upgrade in your team's AI maturity into a really clear 5-part framework. We'll cover leading the cultural shift, architecting the skill framework, auditing for modularization, governing access, and finally overseeing iterative skill libraries.
First up, Section 1, Leading the Cultural AI Shift, moving from ad hoc prompts to procedural apps. As an engineering lead, your absolute first mandate here is driving a massive mindset shift. We have to move away from treating AI as just a standard chatbot where developers write repetitive prompts from scratch every time. To make that shift happen, you need to introduce your team to the concept of skills. Now, according to Anthropic's own engineering team, skills are organized collections of files that package composable procedural knowledge for agents. Okay, simply put, a skill is just a folder. That's it. It represents procedural knowledge, a highly specific, documented way to get a task done. So instead of a developer typing out this huge prompt to review a pull request, they just trigger a prepackaged skill.
Think of it kind of like a smartphone ecosystem. Layers 1 and 2, so the AI models, the agents, and the basic prompts. That's your hardware and the operating system. Anthropic is building the phone. But your engineering team needs to take full control of Layer 3. This is the application layer. Your team needs to be building the apps, which, in our case, are these reusable skills.
All right, let's move right along to Section 2, Architecting the Skill Framework and Standardizing Developer Documentation.
Once your team actually buys into the concept of working with skills, your next job is to provide a rigid framework to document them. You've got to establish the exact anatomy of a skill across your whole organization. A proper skill isn't just some text file with a prompt slapped in it. It fundamentally has 3 essential layers. First is the description. You can think of this as the trigger label. It tells the AI exactly when to use it. Second are the instructions. This is the step-by-step playbook telling the AI how to execute the task. And third, and honestly most importantly, are the tools. This is the code, the Python scripts, the API calls. This tool layer is what actually gives the skill its real leverage.
And this brilliantly illustrates a massive pitfall your developers will likely fall into if you aren't watching closely. Eric from the Anthropic team actually points this out perfectly. He noticed the developers will obsess over writing these beautiful, highly detailed prompts for the instruction layer, but then completely neglect the tool layer. They'll literally pass in bare-bones parameters named A and B that no human engineer could ever realistically use. As a lead, you have to enforce that the tool layers is built to the exact same professional standard as the rest of your codebase. No shortcuts.
Which brings us to Section 3, Auditing for Composable Modularization, moving away from the God skill.
So your third mandate is to actively audit your team's current agent workflows. You know, when teams first start out, they almost always try to build this one massive, unmanageable God skill that attempts to do absolutely everything under the sun. You need to identify those immediately and mandate splitting them up into composable microskills. Why? Because a single massive skill is incredibly dangerous. If you break it down into smaller, hyper-focused pieces, like say a distinct idea research skill and a completely separate scriptwriter skill, multiple skills can then coordinate automatically. It makes spotting issues incredibly easy. When a focus skill breaks, your team knows exactly where to look. Plus, any improvements you make there will compound across every single workflow that uses that microskill, giving your team ultimate plug-and-play reusability.
Now, the really crucial point here is the return on investment for you as an engineering manager. Anthropic engineers actually noticed that Claude kept rewriting the exact same Python scripts over and over. Their solution? Just have the AI save that script directly inside the skills tool layer. By doing this, your team trades expensive, variable AI tokens for cheap, deterministic code compute. AI guesses, it interprets, and it costs money per token. Code, on the other hand, executes exactly the same way every single time, and it's both faster and cheaper. So, mandate this rule. If a task can be done with regular code instead of AI interpretation, wrap it in a tool.
Next up is Section 4, Governing Skill Invocation Access, defining guardrails and restrictions.
As we start giving these AI agents automated code to run, security obviously becomes your primary responsibility. You have to clearly define access criteria. Now, what's really interesting here is the two specific control flags Anthropic built directly into Claude's skills to help you govern this. First, you have user_invocable set to false. This essentially hides the skill from the human user interface, meaning only the AI agents can trigger it behind the scenes. And then, on the flip side, you have disable model invocation. This flag locks the AI model out entirely, meaning only a human has the actual authority to run it.
As a leader, you've got to set clear guardrails here. You must mandate the use of the Disable Model Invocation flag for any high-risk actions. If your team builds a super powerful skill that, say, deploys new code straight to production or sends external messages to a live client, you simply cannot let the AI run that autonomously. It's just too risky. The model can totally prep the work, but only a human should ever be able to invoke that final execution.
And this leads us perfectly to our final section, overseeing iterative skill libraries and cultivating the continuous feedback loop.
Your final mandate is to oversee iterative improvement. Look, Anthropic's whole philosophy is that the AI on day 30 should be vastly superior to the AI on day 1. To actually achieve that, you need to drill one critical question into your developers' heads. Is this a one-time fix, or should it be in the skill forever? Because most developers, they'll just get a slightly flawed output, fix the bug manually, and move on with their day. But that is a massive missed opportunity for compounding growth.
Let's see how this builds into an actual workflow your team can start using today. The iteration workflow is really straightforward. Run the skill and review the output. Next, identify the edge cases or the missing rules. And then, fundamentally, permanently update the skill folder with that new context. Unlike a standard chat prompt that just vanishes into the ether the second you close the browser window, updating a shared skill folder ensures that specific mistake is never made again by anyone on your engineering team.
So, we'll leave you with this final provocative question. Is your team just writing temporary prompts, or are they engineering compounding composable skills? Seriously, take this playbook, bring it straight to your next sprint planning meeting, and start auditing your workflows. The cultural shift from manual prompting to software-engineered skills is without a doubt the single biggest leap your engineering team can take right now. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.